Welcome back to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We just got done recapping the recent NWSL games from May 17th to May 25th, and now we are going to switch over to talking about softball, where we're going to do some predictions for the College Softball World Series that are coming up. The Softball World Series will take place May 30th to June 7th. Before we get into some predictions, though, I wanted to remind you guys to like and follow our show and to become a part of our show to tip and donate using the link gsmcpodcast.net. This also puts your questions and comments at the top of the list so that I see them and they get read on the air. We do really appreciate all the support we get from you guys, and it really does help the show altogether. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start talking about softball. I love talking about softball, so I'm very excited to get into this, I'll be honest. There are 8 teams in the World Series. The 8 teams are UT Austin, the University of Oklahoma, the University of Florida, Oklahoma State University, UCLA, Stanford University, Duke University, and the University of Alabama. Now you're probably thinking, where's Tennessee? And that's what I'm saying is the most shocking part of the 8 teams that are going to the World Series. Like, where is Tennessee? I was shocked to see how that all played out. We're going to get into that right this second. So let's talk about how these teams got to the World Series. The UT Austin Longhorns pulled out Game 3 of their Super Regional Series against rival Texas A&M on Sunday and did most of their work in that series late in games, scoring 16 of their 20 runs in the 6th inning or later. The teams combined for a Super Regional record of 39 runs. The University of Oklahoma had a 2-0 series win over Florida State University, and now this is their 12th time making an appearance in the World Series. For the University of Florida, catcher Jocelyn Erickson tied the single-season RBI record with a sacrifice fly to right field for a 1-0 lead in the first inning. They won Game 3 at home over Baylor University, and now this is their 12th World Series appearance also. Oklahoma State University advanced in dominant fashion over Arizona, sweeping the series by a combined score of 18-4. And then the UCLA Bruins routed number 11 Georgia by a combined 14-1 margin, which is how they got to the World Series. Stanford University outlasted LSU with back-to-back shutouts after losing the opening game. They scored 7 runs in the 5th inning of Game 3 to pull away for an 8-0 win. Duke University went on the road to upset number 7 Missouri and advanced to the World Series for the first time in program history. Duke won the game 4-3 on Sunday in 9 innings. The Alabama Crimson Tide took the most unlikely path to the World Series by upsetting number 3 Tennessee. Now this is when it gets interesting, guys. This series featured the longest game in Super Regional history on Saturday with 14 innings. And Alabama followed that up with a 4-1 win on Sunday with 4 first-inning runs. Guys, it was pretty insane. I will say I am not shocked to see any of these teams on this list. I am shocked to see certain teams not on this list, like Tennessee, also LSU. I don't know why, I just really felt like they were going to be on there. But I'm really happy to see Duke on here because this is their first time making an appearance at the World Series. So let's just talk about the schedule for the World Series. So on Thursday, Alabama and UCLA will go head-to-head. Game 2 is Duke v. Oklahoma. Game 3 is Texas v. Stanford. Game 4 is Oklahoma State v. Florida. On Friday, it will be the loser 1 game versus loser game 2, and then loser game 3 v. loser game 4. And then on Saturday, 2 June 3rd games are TBD. Now, let's get into some predictions. Let's start off with some top performers, like who I think is going to be a top performer. Okay, so I'm predicting that Tiare Jennings, Reese Atwood, and NiJaree Canady are going to be some of the top performers. Jennings plays for the University of Oklahoma and has always been a star on the team. Last year, she was the NFC First Team All-American on the World Series All-Tournament team, was awarded USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year Top 10 finalist on the NFCA All-Central Region First Team, and on the All-Big 12 First Team, and on the All-Big 12 Softball Championship All-Tournament team. She has always been a strong player, and without a doubt, I think she's going to stand on the World Series. She's so good, and playing shortstop this season after 3 years at second base. she has been doing very well in that position, and I'm excited to see if she continues playing in that position at the World Series. Reese Atwood is on the UT Austin team. All in 2023, she was on the All Big 12 Conference Freshman team, All Big Conference Second team, Big 12 Conference Player of the Week, and then she became the first student athlete in program history with a walk-off hit in 3 consecutive games, and also set the program record with at least 1 RBI in 8 consecutive games. The way she can string together games and pile up RBIs has been something to watch this season. She is entering the tournament with 86 RBIs and 22 home runs, and when she gets on a streak, her at-bats are a must-watch. And then I also think NiJaree Canady from Stanford is going to be a top player. All in 2023, she was the NFCA Freshman of the Year, D1 Softball Freshman of the Year, Softball America NCAA Freshman of the Year, D1 Softball Freshman All-American, USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year, top 25 finalist, and was on the College Series All-Tournament team. So she already has that experience of going to the World Series. She knows the competition is going to be tough. She's a super strong pitcher and just an amazing pitcher for Stanford in general. I feel like it goes without saying that she's going to be a top player in the World Series. Now, we got to talk about who I think is going to be the dark horse team. Alabama could be the dark horse team of the tournament. Traditionally strong in softball, Alabama might leverage their lower seeding to fly under the radar and surprise higher seeded teams. They literally beat Tennessee, which was a huge victory for the team, and also was a complete surprise to every softball watcher out there. I really thought Tennessee was going to crush them because just looking at the rankings, Alabama is number 14 and Tennessee is number 3. You would not expect Alabama to come out on top, and I think this shows their potential and strength. I think they're going to surprise some teams, and I'm rooting for them because they're sort of the underdogs in this tournament. I also am rooting for Duke. This is the first time they made an appearance at the World Series, and this is huge for them, for their program history. I don't have much confidence that they're going to come out on top of the tournament. That sounds so mean when I say that. I just don't think they're going to come out as number 1, is what I'm saying. But I think that they have a big chance of possibly finishing 3rd. I'm hoping that maybe they come out and surprise the higher ranked teams. I think, or maybe even have close games with the higher ranked teams. I think if UCLA and Duke went head to head, it would be a really interesting game. Kind of a random thought there, but I wish that they kind of were going head to head because that would probably be the best game of the World Series to watch just because of their sort of rivalry in softball and how close their rankings and, reputation are. Okay, now the next prediction, which newcomer will have the biggest impact. UCLA freshman left-handed pitcher Caitlin Terry has been really impressing me. She can hit the ball with power from the left side as well as pitch with a good amount of strength and velocity. UCLA has a pretty young pitching staff, so I feel like the Bruins might need to use Terry a significant amount in the World Series. And then I also think that UT Austin freshman pitcher Tegan Cavan will have another big impact on the team. Coach Mike White seems to have an eye for young talent, and Cavan was a strikeout machine in the fall ball games. She struck out 15 of the 29 batters she faced. I'm looking forward to seeing her pitch if she ends up pitching in the World Series. Now, the last prediction I have is probably the most important one, who I think is going to win the entire World Series. I don't have a solid one team that I am set, like this team is definitely going to win. I am in between 2 teams. I think the winners are either going to be UT Austin or the University of Oklahoma. I know that is probably the most basic answer I could give, but I do have a lot of confidence in both of these teams. Oklahoma has the talent to win it all again, but it will come down to the Sooners staying unified. One bad attitude, one selfish mentality that can recruit others into, a pity party about playing time, all of that drama can hurt a team and prevent the 4-year sweep. Everyone gives their best game to number 1, and it can be hard to stay focused all season long. However, a talented team that plays for each other can drown out the noise and be next to impossible to beat. The Sooners just need to stay hungry, really. Coach Patty Gasso has her team train in what they call the, quote, championship mindset. And from day 1, when that squad gets together, they are thinking of nothing other than the national championship. The key this year will be if they can handle the pressure. I believe that they can, as they have in the past. And it's really about the pressure because this would be their 4th consecutive win if they do end up winning it. The offensive lineup is stacked with talents like Jada Coleman, Kinsey Hansen, Alyssa Brito, and Tiare Jennings. They have pitchers who complement each other in the circle, both righties and lefties. This is a team full of players who know how to win big ball games. That experience goes a long way in the World Series. Also, more specifically, their senior class knows how to win, how to lead, what it takes, and knows nothing other than winning a national championship. And their pitching coach, Jennifer Rocha, seems to always find a way to get the best out of their pitchers, both mentally and physically. I of course, have a lot of confidence in the University of Oklahoma, just based on their history, too. They won the last 3 ones, like why wouldn't they win the 4th? I feel like UT Austin has been doing well this season, and they have a really strong chance of also winning. And they're pretty dominating as a team. They are 46-0 this season, and they have been doing really well in the super regionals, especially against Texas A&M. They also have Reese Atwood, who tied a program record on Sunday night as the sophomore catcher, became the first Longhorn softball student athlete to be hit by 3 different pitches in the same game since Jody Reeve in 1997. As a result of the 3 hit by pitches, Reese Atwood is now 1 hit by pitch shy of tying the program single season mark set by Kelly Hansel throughout the 2015 season. Also, they have Vivian Martinez, who has a total of 18 doubles this season, which is the 4th most in the program's single season history. The team has also achieved a program best of 89 home runs this season after Mia Scott's 5th inning solo home run at the Super Regionals games. Each of their players are looking really strong, and the team is making a lot of program records, so I think this year especially they have a high chance of winning the World Series. I'm excited to see how the games go. The competition is for sure going to be tight. I have a lot of confidence in certain teams, and I really am rooting for some of the underdogs. I recommend that everyone should watch these games, and we will obviously be talking about the results of the World Series in the upcoming show, so make sure to stay tuned for that. We are now going to go into the next segment where we talk about the Asian Gymnastics Championships. Before we get into that, we are going to be taking a short break, so I will see you guys very soon.